Thanks for this conversation, Jim. And for me, I was also in the business world for many years. Even though I studied music as a kid and was a music major.
Grew up in Brooklyn.
Grew up in Brooklyn in New York and went to NYU, studied music major, classical music. I knew I wanted to be a composer, pianist. I also got into meditation at a young age. I got into meditation as a teenager. I found the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, the famous book, and it kind of set me off on my journey. But then I went into the business world, like everyone here, and to make a buck. And
what did you do?
I went into the tech world in the early days of the internet.
That's when we first met.
That's when we first met. I, along with my brother Jack, I built the company EarthWeb. We took that public in the late 90s, and then other companies after that. And it was an absolute incredible ride. The ups, the downs, but creative expression through new technologies. I loved how the internet connected people, and it was a real thrill. But I always knew I would go back to my music. I just didn't know how that was going to work. But when I ran those tech companies, I always had a piano in my office. Most people don't know I had a baby grand piano in my office in New York City on the 33rd floor of Park Avenue Tower. And at the end of every crazy startup day with all the fires you had to put out, I would go into that room and I would play and I would just reset.
And that's your reset button.
That's my reset button. That was my practice to kind of like work through the stress, the anxiety of the day, and get ready for the next.
One of the sayings I picked up from a very smart guy in the advertising world 30 years ago was, music tells you how to feel.
Yeah.
And if you walk around this conference here at Milken, they use music effectively at the beginning of a session, and then it teaches people to quiet down naturally, and then they use it at the end of the session. And music tells you how you should feel about those things. You've known that for yourself intuitively forever.
Yeah.
But tell us how your performance sessions change how people feel and how they interact.
Well, there's no doubt that music is the language of emotion. And when we don't have words for something, we turn to music. It fills in that space. It's a multi-dimensional language. Now for me, it came to the rescue, literally, when I went through a very difficult grief, the untimely death of my little sister. She was 23, it was an accident, and I had a lot to work through. It was a tremendous loss in my life and my family. And I turned to music to just feel my way through that. And there's no way around it. As much as we might want to distract from it, might want to do other things to not feel the pain, the only way is through. And music was an incredible companion to that because it helped me open my heart more. And so
the rest of your family musical?
Yeah, they all played music. I'm the one who kind of took it, to a professional level, but they all
Jack
love it.
just a capitalist, huh?
Jack's just just a total technology nerd through and through.
Really smart guy.
Brilliant, genius.
He's got big ideas. He ran for mayor of New York City,
That's
right?
That's right.
Okay, now we're back.
Yeah, and so as a family we had to get through it, but also individually you have to kind of forge your own path through grief. We never choose grief chooses us, and then it's a question of how we respond. Yep. And to respond with music by your side really helps to navigate that could be treacherous and dark path and turn it into light again. We only grieve as much as we feel love. Otherwise, we wouldn't be grieving so hard if we didn't love the person. So it's about turning it back into that pure love.
And what about the shared grief experience? The whole family was going through this.
That's right, yeah.
Did music play a role in everyone in the families?
Yeah, I could remember some of the concerts I did, during the time, and my family would come, and it was a very healing experience, very powerful experience. We didn't even necessarily have to speak about it, but just going through that as a shared experience was extremely powerful. And that's what people are experiencing now. I do bring it to these conferences where there's thousands of people, and you know how busy everyone is, and the personality types. Everyone is, has a to-do list from here to tomorrow, type A, getting things done, one meeting after another. But those are precisely the people that can get the most of this, because they don't make time. They don't make time to pause, to stop, to just take a moment to reflect. And that's really what mind travel is all about, creating space for reflection so that we can be our best when we show up in the next moment.
It sounds counterintuitive, Murray, but the people who you're talking about, the type A personalities, go kind of folks that are here, when you say take time out for your mind travel experience for themselves, I'm guessing ahead that those people are actually more productive in their other routes.
That's right.
Because if you don't have a reset like you did, you get into bad loops.
That's right.
And when you recompose it, you can think more clearly and have a better perspective on what's important.
Yeah, it becomes all about quality of attention, not quantity.
Quality of attention.
Right, and that's the most valuable asset we have is not just time, but the quality of how that time is spent in terms of placing our attention on something. You know, if someone is truly clear, they can place their attention for 5 minutes where it might take an hour for someone else. So what's the quality of our attention, right? And the quality of our thinking, of our mindset, of our attention will ripple out to the quality of our lives. That is a direct correlation. So we want to work on constantly the quality of our attention. Can we place our attention fully, focused, and then move on? So that the decisions we make are precise and they come from the right place. They're not distracted, they're not confused, clouded by anything else going on, especially emotional up and down.
It's not just music, because when you perform in Lake Nona, I didn't realize that you would be once in a while speaking.
Spoken word there too, yeah.
And you bring the spoken word in to guide us through. It was incredibly powerful. I just wish I was more effective at explaining this experience. Now you do these concerts, besides at a crazy busy place like this, you do them in parks?
From Central Park, yeah. Central Park to the beach in Miami, South Beach, to Santa Monica Beach here in LA. We bring them all over. We do 100 of these a year in so many dozens and dozens of cities.
In those settings, people wear the headphones?
They wear the headphones because we're out in nature, so it would be really hard to hear a piano. So we put the headphones on and suddenly you're in another realm. It's very intimate, it's very personal, and then the words that I say are about really guiding the train, guiding that reflection so that there's something for the mind to hang on to and open up. So that's really the combination. It's music, mindfulness, and nature.
Nature and an overlay of meditation.
That's right, exactly. And those ingredients, when you set them up just right, it creates magic.
So if someone has gone to one of your concerts, how effective is it for them then to have a recording of what you do so they can escape with you on their own, in their own worlds?
Yeah, and that's really, I always recommend people coming here live if they can first, so they really get what it's about and the feeling that it is, and then they can listen to a recording and recreate that for themselves. And we also do it virtually twice a month. So I do it from my living room to yours, and people can chill out on their couch and lie back and go on the journey. And I do that live from my Steinway in my living room to your living room. And I also do a walking meditation virtually. So we have people in dozens of cities. There's nothing better than walking. It's the healthiest thing physically. Anybody can do it. It's the healthiest thing emotionally, spiritually, connective. And so people walk in their neighborhood, in their park, on their beach. I walk wherever I am. They put their own headphones on, connect through their phone, and now we're all together. And you've got people in dozens of cities, and we're all kind of walking together, and I guide that experience with poetry and spoken word, opening up an inquiry into a new reflection each month.
Wow, you're leading a movement.
So, it's about making an impact, being of service. The one thing I realize, in all the companies that I built, and I know you feel the same way about this, it's wonderful to create companies and bring that to the world, but it's a very different thing to be of service to others, make a difference in someone's life. The feeling is the most fulfilling.
So when can we get together and do it in this nice weather that we'll have now in New York at maybe the Botanical Gardens?
Yeah. Well, we'll be in Central Park in June, so coming up. We'll be there June 13th. We'll be in Central Park and lots of places around the country. So.
Well, I think what you're doing is amazing. I think you're an amazing guy. I know your range of interest and capabilities, just nothing short of amazing. I look forward to trying to get to see you in Central Park.
I hope so.
And introducing you to the team at 1-800-Flowers and at Worth so that you can do your magic with them. And tomorrow, you're going to have the only quiet room in the house.
That's right. Exactly. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Murray.